Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu5. I just got back from the coast. Those of you on Instagram who've been following me know that I caught a very small fish, nothing to brag about. And you also know where this video is probably going. But stick around, I'll give you my point of view or my impression of this product. Not this one's pretty cool. I've been using it for a while, but this one. And for those of you who don't know, this is the Grim Survival Card. Or this is the Grim Fishing Survival Card. And my speech impediment is acting up. But yes, this company specializes in making survival cards for different things. They have a sewing kit, a first aid kit, a hunting kit, knives, spears, just about anything that can fit in a credit card size sheet of metal, and they will cut it out and they'll keep a tab right there where it's connected, and they'll make a survival kit out of it. And the whole thought process behind this, I don't have an Altoids tin. I'm sure I have one somewhere, but the whole gimmick is that you can buy a bunch of these cards and put them all in flat in a Altoids tin, and you have like this super stock survival tin that has knives, saws, handcuff keys, just about anything you need or want in the survival tin. Now, obviously, I can't camp anymore, so survival stuff isn't that big of an issue for me, or is it a big focus, because I'm not going out in the wilderness for long periods of time. I would like to hunt. I like to go fishing out in the ocean. I love the coast, and I'd love to hunt. Not really in a financial place to do it at this point. I got this because I wanted to test some survival gear, but since I'm not in that environment, I thought, well, I'll get the fishing card and I'll go take it to the coast with my ideal survival fishing system, this Yoyito, and give it a test. And for those of you who are looking at the Yoyito and have no clue what it is, I'll go ahead and show it to you. This is a Cuban yo-yo, a very modern Cuban yo-yo, also known as a hand line. In The Old Man in the Sea, the old man being a Cuban fishing for, I think it was a sailfish. It's been a while since I read it. He used a Cuban yo-yo, and basically what it is a spool of string with a little flare out this way, and then I have videos on this. You toss the line out and it spools off. Also has a Molle compatible pouch for those of you that's important, that has that option. Anyways, I got this so I can take a fishing system with me, and it's very packable, and it works a lot. It's a lot more reliable than the Pocket Fisherman that I've used for many, many times. Anyways, now that I got off on that tangent, let's get back to this. This is the card, and it has a mild adhesive. That black stuff right there is a mild adhesive, so you can see right here that it has a tab. So these hooks are connected by a piece of metal, but it also has this mild adhesive. So let's just say if you use one of the hooks and you are able to retrieve it, and you want to reuse it, or you don't catch anything, you want to put it back in the card, you can put it back in the card and it'll kind of stay there. This is their version of the treble hook, which when I fish with shrimp, that's usually what I use as a treble hook to get as many points of contact on that shrimp as possible so it doesn't fall off. I'm not an expert fisherman, but especially when shrimp is getting kind of soft and mushy, I like to have as much points of contact as possible. But it comes with several sizes of hooks, and those would probably be decent for flounder. Is this worth it? Well, here's the thing, and this is mostly for the people who don't follow me on Instagram, because y'all know what happened. Here's the picture of the fish that I caught. It was not a big fish. It's what is known in the area as a hardhead. I don't think that's the scientific name, but it's the common name. We call them hardheads. You got hardheads, gaff tops. These are types of catfish that live in the ocean, and they have fins that can fin you. They're pretty pokey. so you have to be a little bit careful with them, but they're manageable, and they're usually considered trash fish. People don't go out fishing for gaff tops and hardheads, even though they're a type of catfish, and I imagine they might taste alright fried, which about anything tastes better good fried. But most people are not fishing for gaff tops and hardheads. They're fishing for flounder, trout, rat reds, bull reds, sharks, whiting. They're fishing for other things. Most of the time in the areas I'm fishing at, especially when rollover bass existed, it was rat reds, flounder, and trout was the main goal of all the fishermen. And then if you fished in this surf on the ocean side, you're going for the bigger things. You're going for bull reds and sharks, and you'll occasionally get other things as well. And you can catch the other stuff in the surf, and you can occasionally get a shark in rollover, which no longer exists, sadly. But the point is, gaff tops and hardheads are not the target species, and the one that I just showed you in the picture is definitely not one of the target species. It's little, it's tiny. Well, it swallowed this hook, and I wanted to retrieve the hook, and that reason is here now. I can't snap. I'm terrible at that. Try it again. Snow. This is $20 for this one card with all these hooks, and so it's rather expensive. So I wanted to retrieve the hook. Well, the thing is, I grabbed the hardhead pretty firmly, and I pulled the hook out by hanging onto the string because it completely swallowed it, and it bent the hook almost straight on both sides on this. I guess you call it a double hook, not a treble hook. And I was actually quite disappointed in this. Now, let me qualify some things. This is more or less a 2D hook. It's completely flat. It has thinner stock material in order to be lightweight and thin and stuff. So I'm not expecting these things to last forever. But this was quite soft, and it bent the hook, and it got me thinking, well, what if I hooked something more substantial? What if I hooked a big trout, if I hooked a big flounder, or something like that, and it took off, and it ruined my hook, and I didn't get the fish? So as a survival item, yes, it works. It does hook. By the way, I had 2 bites before I actually hooked the fish and caught one. I had 2 bites prior to the third fish that I actually landed and photographed. But yeah, like if you hook something like a decent sized red or a shark or something, and of course a flounder hook isn't going to do much for a black tip or something like that. But if you hook a decent sized rat red or a flounder trout, something like that, will this stand up long enough for you to get it in? And I don't think it will. So as a survival item, yes, it's the cool novelty factor of, oh, I do have an Altoids 10. Imagine that. Pretend that you can get all the cards and put it in here and carry it. And that's kind of the gimmick. Okay, back to the story. I would like to have something that's a lot more reliable when I'm fishing for survival. That's why I carry this instead of the Pocket Fisherman, because all the Pocket Fishermans I've ever owned, I've owned 3 or 4 of them, they all broke over time. I'd get maybe 1 or 2 seasons out of them, depending on how heavily I used them. And by the way, I did land a shark on a Pocket Fisherman, a small one, but it is still a shark. But by the way, back on topic. I like to have more reliable things to use if I'm going to be depending my life on it, or even a photograph. The big thing with me when I'm fishing, yes, I like to eat seafood, but like if I catch a fish and I don't land it, I don't put it on land and photograph it, then I might as well have not caught the fish at all. You either need a photograph or at least 5 witnesses for people to believe you that you caught some monster. Now, obviously, you're not going to be catching monsters with this, but I do enjoy getting photographs with the fish that I catch. whether it be a flounder, trout, or red, or whatever, or maybe it's a snapper, or maybe it's something, a small shark. I'd like to have that photographic evidence, so when I say, hey, I caught this awesome fish, people can know that I actually did. And again, for survival situations, when you're relying on protein, food, and you use one of these hooks and it bends straight the first time you use it, then that's not cool at all. So I'm not a big fan of this, especially for the price. It's $20 for that sheet of metal. Now, like I said, they have many of these cards with many different applications, and the whole point is to stack them in a Altoids tin and get a whole fully equipped survival system. And they even sell sandpaper so you can sharpen the knives that come in this sheet metal stock. But yeah, like, what if you get this knife version, the one that comes with a knife or axe head, and it's so soft that you can't do any cutting task with it. You rub up against bone or what have you, and now you have a useless knife. Well, I guess that's why they sell the sandpaper. But anyways, I was not impressed, and I don't think you should be either. Now, it's definitely a cool novelty, and as the saying goes, anything's better than fingernails. But, I was not a fan, and I feel that if you want a good survival kit for fishing, that you should just go to the tackle shop, bait store, sporting goods store, what have you, and get you some hardened hardened hooks, and just put them in this. This is kind of complete. You can put several hooks in this with some weights, and you have yourself a complete fishing system. You might not have a lot of extra stuff like handcuff keys and stuff like that, because the 3D hooks are going to take up more space and it's going to be less organized. But at least those hooks are hardened steel, and you know that even if you have a relatively small hook, if you hook something that's substantially bigger, that you're most likely going to get it in, because those hooks are hardened. And so I just feel that for the sake of convenience when you're fishing for fun, and for the sake of good health, getting something to eat, I think you'll be better off buying Eagle Claw, or what is it, Must, or what's those other hooks called? I think you'll be better off buying actual hooks. So buy real hardened steel hooks that are more substantial, the thing is, I don't even know if they're hardened. I just know that they are much thicker and much stronger, and I cannot bend them with my fingers, generally speaking. And the small hooks I have had swallowed, I was able to pull out of the fish, and the hook come out just fine. So buy legitimate hooks if you value your fishing trip, or if you value your health in a survival situation. I'm definitely glad that I wasn't depending on this, but it's a cool ideal, but I just don't think it's the best tool for the job. Now, I was also curious if these hooks need to be sharpened prior to use, because I lost a couple of fish. I think I just tried to set the hook a little bit too soon, but they did catch a fish, however small it was, but it also, the hook was wrecked after removing the hook on the first fish as well. So I will not be buying any more of these. If you wanted to do it for some kind of ultralight backpacking trip and you're going to be catching small fish, that could be a use for this if it's like an ultralight, issue that you're shooting for, or it's an ultralight, trip. But far as survival and far as for fun in the ocean, I would say not. So that's it. I'm a Satsu 5, and I'm out.